Paul, that was sort of like taking out a white glove and slapping you across the face and challenging you to a duel. What is your reaction to the coach?
Duel accepted, Mr. Lashley. First of all, I think Alabama's won about 11 national championships in that period that he laid out. But that's not even the main point. If I understand correctly, he's the head coach at SMU, Greeny. I bet you know where I'm going here. Yeah. 1987, you know what happened at SMU? They shut the program down. While he's making fun of the SEC for winning national championships all over the place, SMU's the most corrupt program in the history of college football. And Rhett Lashley has the nerve to get up there and throw stones. By the way, he played at Arkansas. That should have nothing to do with it. That's one of the most comical, embarrassing rants I have ever heard, and I'm glad the audio wasn't clear because I would have come right through that screen.
Man, the egos in that room are just so thick, it's not even funny. And Paul Finebaum will apparently say anything, literally anything. He created an argument about SMU that does not even have anything to do with what is being discussed. The topic was, are these power conference teams, namely the SEC, just top heavy with a couple of really good teams, or are they that good? And for the record, you weren't about to go through this screen, funny man. I'm 41 years old. To put it in perspective, I was 4 when that happened, when SMU got the death penalty. Paul Finebaum is the type of person to bring up something in an argument with somebody that happened when they were like 9 years old at 5:32 p.m., 27 seconds pass on October the 14th in their best friend's backyard when they were wearing the blue shades instead of the green ones. I mean, like, that's literally, Paul Finebaum is that person. That's nutty, Brody. It has nothing to do with anything. And by the way, for the record, the SEC was 8-7 in postseason. The Big Ten was 11-6, and they have the national champion. I don't know what to tell you, Paul. And I know you're going to talk about the last, since how many years, but since 1970, the SEC officially, as a whole, won 10, 11 championships up to 2007 when ESPN took them over. Can't tell me there's no correlation there with the money backing, especially now. This is nothing but propaganda by ESPN. We know what it is. You know, Nebraska and OU pretty much carried the Big 8 for years. Are you going to tell me the Big 8 was spectacular? Miami pretty much carried the Big East for a number of years. You're going to tell me Miami was spectacular, along with maybe you could add Syracuse in there for football? Florida State carried the ACC for a number of years. You're going to tell me the ACC was spectacular? Ohio State and Michigan carried the Big Ten for a number of years. You're going to tell me the Big Ten was spectacular? How many championships do the Hoosiers have as a football program? How many championships does Illinois have as a football program? Rutgers. The point of what I'm saying is it was never about conference. It was about team. You look at that Clemson team that absolutely drummed Alabama in the college football playoff. It wasn't because the ACC was so spectacular that season that they ran this amazing gauntlet on their way to a championship. They were just better prepared, better coached. Don't forget, the first time they beat Alabama, the conversation was all about how Alabama had all the 5-star recruits and all these guys could go to the NFL. And Alabama could probably beat a really bad NFL team. That's how good they are. Well, they couldn't beat Clemson. You're going to tell me the ACC was spectacular in those seasons? Stop it. It's just that Clemson was really good. all those years, it's that pretty much Florida State was that good. I mean, come on. The 90s were essentially ran by Nebraska and Florida State. They carried their conferences. And there's nothing wrong with admitting to that. Look, we're not SEC haters, people. We're just realists. And I've had enough people in my comment section that have a favorite team that's a rival from another conference, and they're like, dude, I don't care if they win or lose a title or not. It ain't got nothing to do with me, Brody. All I know is I want my team to beat them. And there's nothing wrong with that mentality. And this fake, oh, we're all together in the SEC. No, Brody. It's because the majority of your teams are not that good. And for the record, I think the ACC was 2-11 in the postseason, just in case anybody was wondering. And the Pac, well, I mean, do they really even count at this point? I mean, they're still technically there, but I'm not going to do a disservice and incorporate them into this madness. And that's exactly what this is self-serving chaos in the inflated ego of everybody at ESPN right now. My goodness. Chill out just a little bit. Don't nobody care that much about what you're saying as a football coach. And you guys can ask the questions all they want to, but realistically speaking, what are they going to say? 99% of them are going to give you coach speech. That's it. Sure, you got Signetti and a couple of others that are going to say what's really on their mind, but it's few and far in between. And at the end of the day, are their opinions really all that wrong? That's for anybody to decide. But bringing up something that happened in 1987 and act like their current coach has something to do with it is the most ridiculous argument that I think I'd ever heard. If this had happened, let's say last season, and it was the current coach, great. Not something that happened 37 years ago, Brody. Relax. Speaking of coach speech, I'm still trying to decide if that's what Dana White is doing with the UFC right now. I think he's trying to do a little recoup. It looks like he's put the clamp down on John Jones. We'll see. For the time being, it looks like he's put the vice grips down on McGregor. We'll see. And for right now, it looks like they've made the appropriate decision to let Aspinall and Gane fight. Again, we'll see. Look, the thing is, and I've been discussing this for years, is for whatever reason, which, by the way, this is something that's happening in boxing now, where they're allowing individual proprietors to come in and create their own ranking system, it's got to be governed better. So on the surface, it looks like the Gane fight is the way to go. But we don't know who potentially else could be out there because the UFC ranks them how they want to. And the shortcomings of the UFC have caused all this nonsense with Jones and McGregor and everybody else. I don't care what you got going on out there, man. You got to come here and you got to get it done. And look, as far as Jones goes, I'm going to say this one time and one time only. As of the moment of this broadcast, I am 234 days sober. I know what it's like to be an addict. And at some point, you just got to wake up and you have to be tired of yourself. So many people ask me what did it. I'm like, I got tired of myself, and literally the withdrawal almost unalived me. It was the scariest time of my life. One of them anyways. I've had a lot of scary times. That might have been the scariest. You're looking at it right in the face, and all you can see is all the things that you didn't do and all the time you wasted. I just sat there, man, and I cried in that hospital when they were telling me, I don't know how you walked in the door, bro. Because I did. I drove myself there. I somehow walked in that door. And ERs in my hometown, man, they don't see you right away for nothing. You're going to sit out in that lobby, whether they got one person in that whole hospital, no people in that whole hospital, or a room full of people in that hospital. You're going to wait. Man, they saw me right away. Dude, have you ever gone through withdrawal before? No? Well, you're going through it now. I need to know exactly what you're coming off of. Gave me a laundry list of shots, man, to save my life. You have to be tired of yourself, and you have to never want to be that person ever again. I sympathize and empathize with Jones. And I do with McGregor too. Ultimately, we're addicted to ourselves, and that's a good majority of us. What's my point? The point is this. Jones, after what Dana White said, dude, I'm doing it right. I'm clean. I'm good. Okay, Brody. We'll see. You want to fight at the White House? That's it. In the meantime, I had asked people, is it going to be Cyril Gane as potentially one of the fights that you're going to look at that and go, okay, this is going to define Aspinall. This is going to prove it. At least the fight's going to happen. So far, we don't know what the heck could happen, but maybe it's just a people pleaser move by Dana White. I don't really know at this point, and I don't really trust anything that he's doing at this point. So we'll see. He went on Jim Rome's show, said that when it came to Aspinall and Jones, if they couldn't get it done in a couple of weeks, they were moving on quickly. Jones retired, and then he went on and he started claiming that he had the whole thing set up and ready to go. Then he basically called Jones a liar when Jones said he'd all but retired in November, which, by the way, Aspinall had kind of backed that up already because he had already said, look, I think basically Jones retired back in November. So Dana waited how many months for him to actually retire and give up the belt to an interim champion, by the way, which really makes him a paper champion at this point. It was by default, not by win. And I guarantee you Aspinall wanted to earn it. It is what it is. We are where we are. We'll see what happens. Barring an injury, should be spectacular. Speaking of injury, the Jets. Well, you know, they got kind of a bizarre quarterback room, you know it? It's like you have all these question marks with Justin Fields. Was he given a fair shake in Chicago or not? He was efficient, but he wasn't great in Pittsburgh. They ended up giving the reins over to Russ anyway. He's got a really big opportunity to really prove himself, despite the fact that he's not going to have an O-line in New York. Then he potentially gets hurt. Now, obviously, he gets hurt. He goes to the tent. Whatever they saw, they had him carted off. Now, coach already came out and said, look, man, we don't know how bad it is yet. It's too early to panic. We're going to chill. So we'll see. Then you got Tyrod Taylor. He probably wasn't going to start, but he's going to have more experience than Martinez. And that's what you have to decide right now. Are you going to go with experience and somebody that you think can read the defense a little bit better? Because you know Tyrod's got wheels, but not like he used to. Or somebody that you know is going to be able to scramble around back there in Martinez. Man, that is a tough call to make. I don't know. If I'm New York, I know what I'm doing right now, man. I'm just going to keep it a buck. I wouldn't have a single clue. They gave the snaps over to Tyrod, but man, that's so 50-50 on what's going to happen over there. In the room that they put together, it was kind of like you're giving this guy a chance with a new head coach. Man, I don't know. Justin Fields was already, I think, an afterthought anyways to most people. And this was kind of his last stop. And even though I, from the beginning, never really thought that he would be good in the NFL, I clearly never want to see somebody get hurt. So for him to potentially lose the job like this, that's tough. Especially when you only got 2 years to prove yourself. You know, quite the contrary. In the NFL, 2 years isn't a long time. Now, if he had a good season at the end of this year, they would probably extend him out. No problem. But 2 years is a pretty safe thread on We're going to see what happens. If we don't like what's going on, we're giving ourselves plenty of room here to draft somebody later on. I mean, seriously, that's the move. All right, everybody. I am Drew Duncan. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram is all Drew Duncan Radio. I am wherever you're listening to broadcast. Simply tell your device to play the Drew Duncan Sports Show. YouTube and TikTok is the RL Drew Duncan, the real Drew Duncan. Everybody stay safe, take care of yourselves, and have a wonderful rest of your night and or day.